Yeah.
So we're looking at budgeting, and now we want to see how we keep track of our budget. And we looked at 3 budgets. We have individual budget. The second one is? I need those hands up. Not chorus answers like in a choir. Yes, we have the individual budget. I can do one for myself. Yes. Family budget, and you can also do a business budget. Okay, now after doing the budget, you want to see how then do I keep track of my budget? And there are 2 objectives which I'd like someone to read for us. I thought your hand was up. Please, loud. Are you hearing us?
No.
You?
Discuss ways of staying within your budget. Practice monitoring income and expenses.
Sorry.
And expenses using simple tracking sheets.
Okay. So these are our objectives which we hope to achieve. And first of all, we want to look at some case studies. Because it is one thing to create a budget, but how do we keep it? How do we keep on track so that it is useful as a tool? Otherwise, we'll prepare it and it will be redundant. We are doing something else and it is telling us something else. So if it is going to be a tool that is going to aid us in decision making and on how to manage our resources, our income and expenditures, and make sure that it is a surplus budget at the end of the day, we need to be tracking. Actually, I would advise that every so often, every month probably, you go back and look at your budget and compare on how you are operating. You may need to plan individual budget. I said I would spend $200 on fuel, but how much actually am I spending? So that you can avoid those variances that may not be healthy. So we've already looked at the character of Jane and others. Now we want to read a case story, a case on page 40. Page 40 in your booklet. Sorry? 40. What is it? Sorry? What is funny? I said 40, I said 40.
There is no page 40.
I just 39. And so after 39, you cannot 40. Eh? That's the 4. And the next is 40. The African didn't put it because of the picture. Yeah. But once you see 39, you know the next is 40. That is why you need. Okay. We want to keep track and stay within our budget. And we want to read the character. We've read the character. And we want to see the case study number 6. Somebody loud and clear who can do that. Read the case study.
Mary's
The hand
budget.
Yes.
Mary's budget management. Last month, Mary explained again to her parents how much money she would send them. She told them they had many plans with mouths and they needed to save as much as possible. Yesterday, Mary received a phone call from her family. Her parents asked her to send more money because they were
Are you listening?
because because they were hit by a big storm and the roof of their house needed to be repaired immediately. Mary hesitated. She remembered that she had already sent her family the amount allowed for in their budget. She was disappointed but went to the money transfer operator and sent them the money they requested. Now, while talking with most, they realized that they will not be able to have a balanced budget with this extra expense. They spoke and decided to postpone the purchase of the phone, but also to try to save as much as possible in expenses related to food and transport.
Thank you. That is our story, case study 1. We are going to look at another case study about Jane. Page 41.
Jane's budget management.
Loud.
Last month, Jane realized that her numbers were very tight, and she should always keep an eye on her expenditures. Yesterday, Jane received a phone call from her cousin, Howard. She asked to borrow some money as her daughter was seriously ill and needed expensive medicine. Jane hesitated. She remembered that she had no spare money in her budget. While thinking about this, she remembered her cousin had helped her so many times that she could not refuse. Later that week, Jane's oven, which she uses for making the bread she sells, started having problems. Jane did not have enough money to pay, and Howard still did not have money to pay her back. Jane had to borrow money from a neighbor.
We have two people. We have Mary and Jane. We are going to discuss these characters and see their money management ways and who did better and what they could have done besides what they did. So I'm going to ask a few questions which we are going to discuss as a group. Like number one, who of the characters is more committed to keeping their budget? You have to tell me why.
Mary.
Why?
Because even though there was an emergency, she had to solve that emergency, but still she looked for ways of squeezing her budget, and she promised herself to save more as much as possible to cover up for the gap, while the other one went and borrowed.
That is the solution sheet. Thank you very much. Yes? Can somebody add on to that? If you think it is Mary, what else do you have to back your answer up? I think Mary also reduced on her costs, her expenditure. Yeah. Now, how did the character stay within her budget? How did she stay? I think we answered it, yes?
She cut the want of the cell phone and covered it with the emergency. And then she cut on the cost of the food and transport.
Okay. And what can you do to stay within the budget? What can you do? I'm I'm asking you now. What else can you do? We've seen what she did. What else can you do to stay within the budget? Can we stand up a little? What you just what is your need? And I think maybe you need to stretch. Christian. I'm just hurting. Yes? I'm asking. Yes? But I need others to contribute. Go on.
You can prioritize. Yes, you can look at the budget, everything is needed. But since now you're fixed and you need to handle this, you look at the most needed.
Thank you. Yes, sir?
You can also prepare for the risk.
You can?
Prepare for the risk before. Save for the risk.
You can?
Yeah, actually,
Let him finish in your other.
I think you can prepare for the risk before.
You prepare for what you're going to spend on. Yes, your neighbor?
it is like the same. To say for the, actually, I don't understand why this man plan to save as much as possible in expenses related to food and transport. And yet they told her to save money for the emergency.
But look here, you have your own priorities.
Yeah.
And your parents have their priorities. And you support them. They are dependent on you. They are dependent. Okay? So when you ask why did she spend money on food, shouldn't she eat and have family do it?
Yeah.
The other is secondary. She supported them. But first she has to make sure that her family has food. It's a basic. It's a need for her family. Maybe reduce on what you eat, reduce on the quality of food you eat, but have to eat. Yes?
Yes, I'm.
Tell me, what else did you want her to do?
Yeah, because for me, what disturbs Mary in her budget is when the parents request her the money they are offering. Now, when a problem happens, that was the challenge. Yeah, but to solve, she said that she's going to increase on her savings related to food and the transport.
To reduce.
To reduce.
To reduce.
Ah.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what else, thank you, what else can we do to stay within budget? We'll talk about these things even as we budget. Because we're looking at if you have a deficit budget, how do you improve it to be a surplus? So what else can we do?
Yes, you can also diversify different enterprises so that you can increase on
The sources of income.
yes.
Okay. Yes, Jackie?
Also, like here, Jane, the problem she had to lend money to the house. So, to us, you should also limit on giving your friend money anyhow, the man of the business, when you find out to use it for business.
And you can see that the friend would not pay back
Yeah.
in time because she would have paid and then the problem would have been solved. Yes?
Can go and insure her family.
Speak up.
She can go and insure her family insurance.
She can go and insure her family if she has resources to do that. One more?
She can twin.
She can?
She can twin. She can just explain to the family how to make a budget, so that they also know.
They are old.
Yes.
They are old. They are not gone off the house. They are looking at you, they don't have any other source. No bank has lent them. So asking them to make a budget. Yes, even at my age I have children like this. But I make a budget, but not all old people do. So some of them have completely no, and apart from what you give them for the month. So remember us when you get old. Yeah. So, but she did what she could, but at the same time, she tried to organize her budget and her finances so that she's managing better. She's not going into a deficit. You are giving us some answer locally there? I see you chatting with her. So instead of chatting with her, give us the answer. We all need it. Okay. So here are a few suggestions from a book, look in your book, but in mind. Remind yourself how to stay within your budget. Remind yourself frequently how much you have planned to spend. Keep it at the back of your mind. Include in your budget some provision for unforeseen expenses. Even when you are budgeting, even when government is budgeting, there is a contingency. Even when you are budgeting for programs, there is a what? So even in your budget, put a contingency. Unforeseen expenses, maybe 10% of the overall budget that you are preparing. Keep your savings where you cannot easily get to them, so you are less likely to spend them. Where can this be? In the banks. Keep track of what you spend. Make sure you don't spend more than you budgeted for. If you overspend for one purchase, spend less on another. Make a list of ways of reducing your expenses. We talked about that. And involve your family in drawing up your budget and helping them to keep it. Okay? Let's go take 41. No, hold on, don't go there. Don't go there, please. You can put them to us for now. So we want to identify easy ways of cutting on your spending. Easy ways. How do we cut on our spending? And I want suggestions from you. How do you cut on your spending? Gladys, you're quiet this morning. How do you cut on your spending?
You have to consume less.
We don't hear what you're saying.
You consume less.
You consume less. Less food?
Less what?
Less what?
On your essential ones or essential needs.
You consume less on essential needs. Yes?
And you can also buy less on credit. Less food on credit.
Buy less on credit. Like in our friends where they use credit cards. Anytime you go, they see you have some income coming, just use your credit card and you can pay it in 2-3 years. Actually, I have friends who live in the US and they no longer use their credit card because you get up being over indebted and you are spending more than you earn, and you're paying a lot of interest cost on it. Anyone else? Can I have one more? Yes?
Spending less on parties and festivals.
Spend less on partying, especially for you youth. Hey, the energy is still a lot and you want to see where to use it from. Can you ask your friend to stand up from here? Your neighbor there? So that should be that. Yes. And you're going to give me the next answer.
Spend less on unnecessary things like makeup, what?
Okay. It's a good ladies question. You didn't say that. Your answer did not exempt you. Because you will continue what you are doing. Okay. Now if you go to page 41, There are some tips. Take 41 of the money. Maybe some people consume less of non-essential, beverages, snacks, luxurious goods, chocolates, spend less on social events, buy items you need in large amounts at lower costs. That is also a good tip.
Buy less.
Buy less on credit. There I think that I told you, yeah? Carry less money or save money in a safe place. Keep the ATM card away and be mindful of the expenditure of the payments. Now, we have what we call the income tracking sheet. And you have it on page 42. You want to look at it. Just for me, I'm going to be reading my answers. Page 42. Are we there? We want to see how we keep within our limits. We've seen how to increase on income, how to reduce on costs, how to reduce on money we give away, how to tactfully. You don't do it because your family does not disown you. So that your family does not disown you. In our culture, as you know, we live with dependence. Yeah. So to keep within the limits of our budget, we want to monitor your income and we want you to monitor your income and expenses and to calculate how much you earn and how much you spend each month. And this is an income tracking sheet that we are looking at. What are the features of this? Can you stand up and tell us? What are the features of the income tracking sheet in your book? Can you stand up and read for us the features? What does it have?
The income tracking sheet has the name, the month, and the year. Then it has the date, the description of source of income, and the amount of income. And at the end of the page, we have their total income.
So you identify yourself and the period and the date. You keep on entering. It's like a daily transaction. You enter where the income is coming from the source and how much it has come in. So you track your income. You don't just let it, even as an individual, even as a business, even as a family. Okay, so we have some questions. When are you going to use this income tracking sheet? You're answering for yourself. We're giving you these tools to use. When are you going to use it? Are you going to use every week, every 2 weeks, every month? Or are you going to use it when you get a bonus or when your parents send you money?
When I'm getting
I'm not talking about, we've already said it's income, wherever you get income. But when do you use it? Is a question. Monthly. You wait for the month to enter in. I don't think that is very efficient. By the time the month ends, you have forgotten. You've eaten the money and you don't know where it came from. So I think it should be daily. Even if it's a business, it is daily. If you're self-employed as a shopkeeper, or buying or selling products, for example, how can you calculate how much you have earned? How much has come in? Do you calculate at the end of the week?
No, they would
You still need to do it daily. If you receive financial help by the state or international agencies, donors, private people, family abroad, or any other source, how can you estimate this income? How can you report it? How can you estimate it? You are receiving some income. When can you include it?
estimating is like including it in the estimate.
You are looking at the income tracking sheet. When do you record it? Do you receive it daily? You receive it whenever you receive it, you what? You enter it. Should you use this tracking sheet even if you are not paid in cash? Question. Do you use it only for cash? What if you're employed and you're paid by check? Transfer to your bank account. Or mobile money. Yes?
I think yes, you can record.
You should, not can.
You
You should record.
should
Okay?
record.
Whichever way the money comes. If you employ like this, you cash in an envelope. Should you check the amount of money in the envelope?
Yes.
It is very, very important. In my culture, from Uganda, we say sente tekubali pamoja. And I use it in my home. You give somebody money and they just march away. And I ask them, what if I made a mistake? And I'm not giving bigger money we are supposed to give. And you know, sometimes you're sending him to give money to somebody else. And they're just taking an envelope. And they're giving it to a third party. So you can't even know where it got lost. But you be accountable, count what you have received, then pass it on the other person also does what? Counts it. So even when your boss pays you, it's not polite. It is just discipline. It's just so transparent. So to say, let me just confirm. Yeah. It's very, very important. That is why when you go into banks, you don't look away when they're counting. Now they have machines. But before when they're counting with money, some, they call it shrewd or whatever, bank employees would drop the because they take a lot of money.
Yes.
Counts very fast and then drop some. You are not even alert. And said, oh, but it's not a million. It's only 950,000. Yeah. So you should count it. If your employer pays you by bank transfer, how can you check that the transfer has gone through? How can you check? How do you check? It does not have to be your employer. If you get money by bank transfer, how do you check? Sorry? But before that, you go to the bank. But today, if you have a bank account, immediately money drops in your account, they send you a message. Okay, you receive those. Yeah. So you confirm. Before you record it, confirm that it has entered my account. So that is an income tracking sheet, which is an important tool, because it enables you to check and exactly how much you have earned each week or each month. It can be used for all transactions performed in cash, by check, transfer, and any other means. I think it's a simple tool you can adopt. Who can adopt it? How many want to use it? We are giving you a tool not to live in class. How many are going to use these tools? Otherwise, we are wasting each other's time. It's important that we adopt them. Now, very briefly, what are the benefits of using an income tracking sheet? There are people who have not talked this morning. Like Dr. Your name by name. He said, what are the benefits of using the income tracking sheet? Because we are not doing a lot, I could say. Can somebody give me a benefit of using this tool? Yes, everybody.
Can help you to find, recognize the losses, the losses, the profits.
This is not profit and loss, it is income tracking. You are tracking what comes into your coffers.
It helps you to evaluate yourself since it allows you to compare. If you do the tracking list of this month, you compare with the other one, with the other one, that is when you realize where you are.
You can track. Yes?
It helps you to know the exact amount which you are having in your account.
Exactly how much you have at a certain point. Because you can even do better and create a column here. Create another column so that you have where it is coming from, amount that has come in, and then you balance every day. You have the balance. You know, I received 100,000 today. So my balance today is 100. I received tomorrow, maybe tomorrow I received 200,000. So I added the 100 so that my balance is the third column is. Definitely come and draw this. You get my point? Yes. So that at one point you actually know how much you have when you fast. Let me wait here. So it is very important to help you track what has come in. So what I mean is, you have the first row, and it has dates, it has description. Sorry? Source, where it is coming from. It has, this one has amount of income. Okay? You can have total amount. You can see amount. So that when I have on first, I got 23. I got from my salary, I got 200,000. So the balance would be 200,000. If on second, I got from my parents, okay, 100,000, it means I'm adding 200 plus to get. You can just hold it there. You can just hold it there. even help you more so that you're tracking where your money is coming from, but also tracking today. If I look at my book today, how much money do I have? Okay? Is it clear? Okay, any question? It's okay. It is okay, just put it down. It is helpful because it tells you exactly how much you have coming in and where it is coming from. And how much you have at a certain point in time. Sometimes an employer may be late in paying you. Some employers forget to pay the employees wages. By keeping a written record, you'll be able to remind the employer that your wages are due. Okay? Your wages are due and you know when they are supposed to come in every month. When a contract comes to an end, employers sometimes pay late than the amount due. By keeping a written record, you'll be able to show your employer how much is owed to you. Even if you are not employed, as a business person, as an individual, you need to keep this kind of tracking. Okay, let's quickly go to expense tracking record. I think that's it in the booklet on our next page. So what are the features for the expense tracking record? Expense tracking record? I want a new thank you. I appreciate it. But some people are quiet.
Features of expense tracking sheet. We have name, month, year, and date, description of expense item, amount spent, planned or unplanned, and the expense.
Which one are you reading? Can you follow up? I mean, you are not in your book. The book is there, but you're reading like it's there.
No.
Or you are following.
I'm repeating expense tracking sheet. We have name, month, and year. Then date, description of expense item, amount spent, planned or unplanned, and total expenses, total income, then savings.
The income of what?
Expenses.
So here you are recording your expenses. There we are recording our income. Before I explain further, I want you to respond to this. As we did before in an exercise. If you are going to stand up, if you know how much you spent last month on credit for your mobile phone, if you know how much you spent on your mobile phone, hey, nobody. These are, you think they are minor, but they are very critical. Because, and it motivates you to continue. So it is important to have a budget, as we saw before. How much am I spending on my data, on my airtime? Never. How much am I spending and how much did I actually spend? So here, there we are budgeting, here we are tracking how we spend. Yes, sir. You know, I didn't see your hand up. You just said me in a whisper. But for me, I said stand up. If you know. How much? Tell us. How much did you spend on air? Tell me how much on that.
Just spend on that area. 1,200.
What's up for
Monthly.
what to scream per day?
Per day. Yeah.
How much data is good and how much air?
That is the airtime is 1,200.
So what do you get? How much data do you get? For both air and
I use it.
so he knows. And some people, it's hard day is possible. You buy a bundle, and it depends on how much you use your phone. But the instance is not that you are going to use what you use, but tracking. Budgeting for it and tracking. So that you are not, we have to spend on these things. Like you don't even know how much you spend. When you take your records, you see, where did all this money go? You are just chatting, you are on Facebook, all those things. You know they know how to make money. This firm, and they have increased their taxes, you know that. Their fees have increased. Your government also came in with B.3. Because they know this is something where we can touch them. Uganda has more than 75% youth. And if you all have tendencies, you know where we are. If you're using it for business, I use a lot of this for business. And I don't have a problem. Because even my client has to load it sometimes for me. If I'm doing that for them. But please monitor, track. Huh? It's not hard. The record is here. The tracking system is here, which is going to help us. Now start up if you know how much you spent on transport last month. Transport. Chairman, but you see these tools are important. You get my point. Because they will redirect you. They will discipline you, help discipline you. Eh? They look simple, complicated. How many think it's complicated? It's here. So the program is in your mind. You get it?
Yeah.
We said we are talking about financial education. Don't remove my chart. It is to look at skills, knowledge, attitudes for good practices of financial management.
Yes.
So some of it is in our minds. It's little money, it's not little money. You sum it together and see how much it's going to be. And you are praying about some necessities, and you are spending a lot of time and money on that necessity sometimes. So all of us spend money. Very few of us know exactly how much we spend on individual budgets. On individual budget items. We can think of food because it is bulk. But think of these small things and they'll eat away your money. So we need to plan for it and to track it. So the expense tracking tool will help us. This tool is in your manuals, we'll look at it. And it's going to help us. Once you have all your total expenses, like we saw in the budget, you have your total income, the Indian books I hope. And so we have savings, which is income minus expenses. And what did we say a surplus one is? 1%. Yes, Chairman. Now we're not talking about budgeting, but we're saying how do we track what we're spending. What is the surplus? You repeat, maybe you came late. Because we talked about it in the morning. Yes? Sorry? It is total income minus total expenses. And it's not going to be that. What does a surplus balance mean? Yes.
It means the total income minus the total expenses, the balance when it is a positive, that is when it is a surplus.
Very good. And the other side is a the what? Can somebody put up there and explain to me the deficit? Yes?
Income is when you subtract your total income minus your total expenses. Yes, minus the total expenses, and then you get a negative balance. That is your loss.
So, and we said before, we need to see how we have more surplus and not more deficit. So this income tracking, the expense tracking system is important. And maybe I want to hear from some of you, why is this important and why are we going to use it? From this table, Mr. Molanga, Mutanga, from your table.
This table here.
Yes. Why is it important?
I think it is important because it is giving us the information on what you are earning or what you are having at a certain point of time, and also what you are spending, the amount of money which you are spending at a certain point.
So it is helping you to track. Anyone else who can help? Is that an answer?
And you can help you to know whether you are overspending or not.
Yeah, it helps you to know when you are overspending or not. Yes?
Also, you should know when, what to spend on, was it planned or not?
Was it planned budgeted for all?
No.
No. And then you know how to cut back when necessary. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it also helps in the evaluation process so that some items can be foregone.
So that?
I'm saying it helps in the evaluation process.
Evaluation.
Yes, so that some of the items that are not essential in the human being way can be foregone.
And eliminated action.
Yes.
So when you are going to use this expense practice, when are you going to use it? When are we going to use it? Wait for a month? What do we do? Yes? We need it every day. When we create time every evening. I hope he's with us. You don't have dates here. Should you use the tracking sheet for minor expenses? Why? Should we use it for minor expenses?
I think we should use it since we see them as minor, but when you count them at the end of the month, they end up counting.
They end up counting. Okay. If you're far away from your family, should you use this sheet when you send money to your family? The same hands. I want more hands. That table is. You have one person representing. Can I have the second lady on the table answer?
How to use it?
B.3, you who are just coming
Yes, you have
from
to use
outside.
it.
Sorry?
Yes, you have to use it.
Why?
Because then you save them money and you need to keep track of the money you save them and then you save it to them.
So it's very important, whether they are minor, whether it is for my daughter or for my parents, you need to do what? To track. So how do you plan to use this express tracking system in the future? Practically. These are some of the action points you should have for yourself. You know, I'm going to start using the income tracking from tomorrow. I know from tomorrow I'll have the expense tracking. I know I have to budget for next month and for the rest of the year. So that things are not just happening ad hoc. So how are you going to use these tools from here? Hello? Yes? How are you going to use them? I'm talking to you. We need an energizer.